Top five, top five, top five.
So then topical back on another video. I'm Strange Wang. He is Nate. Today we're doing top 5 Steve Carell movies in honor of those movies he keeps making for kids. That's annoying as fuck, but they make money. So he's coming out with another Despicable Me movie. It's a good time to talk about Steve Carell. He'll tell you how the top 5 work, and then we'll get into it.
He's going to start with his 5 and 4. I'll give my 5 and 4, 3, 2, 3, 2. Then we trade off number ones. We also have something called the Zemeckis rule, which just means if we both have the same movie on our list, but one person has it 2 spots or higher, then they'll say Zemeckis, and then we'll just talk about it once when we get to it on theirs.
Number 5 for me is going to be Foxcatcher. Foxcatcher is a interesting movie because it definitely comes off like a Oscar bait movie.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo started doing the MCU movies. Well, let me do this. Steve Carell, I'm the funny guy. Let me do this. Channing Tatum, 21 Jump Street's great, but I want to be a serious actor. Let me do this. And it's okay. It's like a toned down Tiger King-esque movie. Really interesting. Kurt Angle, professional wrestler, Olympic gold medalist, went to Foxcatcher.
This is about the guy who makes this community for Olympic athletes. Okay, yeah. I've watched a documentary on the actual guy. I've never seen Steve Carell's movie. Yeah.
So John LaPont is who Steve Carell plays. Is different. He tries. He puts himself out there, and it's a okay, decent. If we ever did a top 5 for Oscar bait movies, this would actually be one of the better ones. It's good. It's not great, but because of Kurt Angle going there and how crazy the story turns out to be, because this dude's a freaking lunatic.
Yeah,
it's interesting. So Steve Carell, Foxcatcher, number 4, number 5, number 4. One he did better. I haven't seen many Steve Carell genres.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Dramas, DJ drama. So Battle of the Sexes is my number 4.
Huh, okay.
This is one he did really good in. He had that comedic element to him.
He did what he was supposed to do.
But he was still serious enough to get on the audience's skin and to make you really back. I don't know the person's name. I don't watch tennis.
John McEnroe? Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean King.
Emma Stone's character.
Emma Stone, yeah. So he does exactly what he needs to do, as Nate said. And minus one film, this is his best drama. I haven't seen The Big Short or Beautiful Boy, so.
You've never seen The Big Short?
No.
Oh, man.
I own it on Blu-ray.
Yeah. Would highly, I know that you have a billion movies to watch, but would highly recommend that one.
Everyone has a billion movies to watch,
speaking of Battle of the Sexes, it reminded me of this. I just thought it was really interesting. I saw this, I don't know if it was a meme, really more than just an infographic, but Tobey Maguire and Kirsten Dunst, Spider-Man and Mary Jane. Tobey Maguire played a soldier in Jarhead, right? He played a soldier in a military movie.
It wasn't Jarhead.
And
it
then,
was Brothers.
That's it. And then Kirsten Dunst played a tennis player in a movie called Wimbledon. Okay. And then Andrew Garfield played a soldier in Hacksaw Ridge. And then Emma Stone played a tennis player in Battle of the Sexes.
Okay.
And then Tom Holland played a soldier in Cherry, even though it doesn't. He's out of it at that point, but he was in fact a soldier. And now Zendaya is playing a tennis player in Challengers. So there's a tree going for Spider-Man duos.
That was interesting.
My number 5 is in fact The Big Short. I really love this movie. I love. I almost want to call them there are not many movies that fall into this, but data dramas, oh man, Moneyball. Moneyball is a drama. It's a baseball movie, but it's really about crunching numbers, right? Big Short is about the crash of the housing market, but it's really about crunching numbers. And the two, to me, have really, really similar vibes. I love this movie. Some absolutely incredible performances from some really big names all throughout it. Super interesting look into how this happened and how some people saw it coming and ended up making a boatload of money because of it. The only reason it's at number 5, because Steve Carell's phenomenal in the movie. The only reason it's at number 5 is because he's sharing this movie with Christian Bale and like some other people. Like, there's just a lot of big names in this movie.
That's fair.
And he's not like the solo vehicle for it. But he does have a really great role in it. Love that movie a lot. My number 4 is Seeking a Friend for the End of the World.
That's my number 3.
Nice. Okay.
I think if you take everyone who's ever seen that movie, the only people that enjoy that movie a lot, keyword, a lot, they're both sitting on this couch.
Well,
it's a guilty pleasure. Everyone shits on this movie.
I love this movie.
The concept of it is fascinating. Surprised it hasn't been done before. It makes sense. It's logical. It's a beautiful story with lovable characters, and I don't understand why people don't like this movie.
Yeah, I don't either. I thought it was great. And like,
self-deprecation is something Steve Carell does really well. Yeah. And kills in this movie.
And honestly, like, not an awful representation of what a lot of the world would look like if, like, we knew for a fact that we only had, 48 hours or whatever until the entire Earth was getting destroyed. There'd be a lot more panic also going on. I know a lot of people didn't like this movie. I thought it was okay. But I already forgot the name of it. What's the Jennifer Lawrence, Leonardo DiCaprio, the world's ending movie that came out during COVID that everyone's shitting on? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I shit on it too. That movie's not good.
Yeah, that's like the closest movie to this in terms of like Don't Look Up. It blending like the comedic elements, because there's other movies that have a similar premise, but it's mostly just panic the entire time. I find this movie incredibly endearing. You're like legitimately pulling for this relationship between these two characters. Kind of like Lost in Translation-esque in a lot of ways. With how their relationship develops. But yeah, really interesting premise. Really great blend of like comedic and dramatic stuff from Steve Carell, and Keira Knightley does a really good job playing that sort of like I wouldn't call her like full blown manic pixie dream girl in this movie, but still that just kind of like free spirited, lighthearted, like, really hard to not. You could see why anyone might develop a massive crush on this person. So
yeah, I completely agree. If we did a top 5 Pixie Dream Girls, that would be she was my number 6.
Yeah.
Very honorable mention-esque.
Yep.
So
yeah, that was my number 4.
That was my number 3. My number 2, Little Miss Sunshine. Same reason for The Big Short.
It's my number 1.
Everyone in that movie does such a good freaking job. It's hard to say Steve Carell's movie. Paul Dano, great. The little girl, great. Alan Arkin, phenomenal. Hereditary girl, lady.
Toni Collette,
great. The dad, he's also great.
Yeah, he's such a that guy.
Yeah,
like I feel like I should know his name, but I don't remember his name. But he's very much it's that guy.
I know his name.
Yeah, if I heard it, I would be like, gosh dang it.
But everyone does such a great job. They're in this van, and just like the engine, everything's working together to bring out the best product possible. And Little Miss Sunshine is a ray of fucking sunshine. This film will have you sad. It will have you relating to some of these characters. It hits so many things, but overall, happiness.
Yeah.
And that third act, something Lowe. Rob Lowe. That's the name, right? Rob Lowe?
No. I would have to disagree about this not being like Steve Carell's movie. I think this is 100% his movie. And like you are correct. Alan Arkin, incredible in this movie. Paul Dano, phenomenal job in this movie. I forget the little girl's name, but she's great in it. Toni Collette is like really great as always. But Steve Carell is like the audience's kind of like viewpoint into this family. Like he's very clearly, in my opinion, the main character. the whole reason this all starts in the first place is him having to move in with them because of his suicide attempt. And really it's about like him processing his own grief by realizing that he is in fact an empathetic person. So it's like him caring about Paul Dano and like talking to him helps him process his own stuff. Him working with a little girl after the grandpa dies helps him process his own stuff. And just like going through all of that. It's just like, yeah, it's really a story about healing from a lot of different kinds of things. It's also a story about different types of grief. Like he's grieving a lost relationship with a person who's still alive. Paul Dano ends up grieving the loss of his career plan. And a lot of them are kind of grieving the loss of the grandpa eventually. And so, absolutely hilarious movie with like a shit ton of heart in it. Absolutely love that movie for sure. My number three is Dan in Real Life. You seen this movie?
No.
Man, you were like, when you put Battle of the Sexes and Foxcatcher on your list, I was like, he has not seen a lot of Steve Carell.
I feel like Foxcatcher is like very because of the prosthetic and what he did. Like, I feel like that would be on most people's top
I feel like
fives.
nobody talks about that movie, but also nobody talks about Seeking a Friend for the End of the World. But we both had it on our list. So, anyways, Dan in Real Life, it's kind of a lot of the same. Like, his wife died, but he has to go to this family reunion. This is the only movie I've ever watched where I was like, I don't hate looking at Dane Cook's face right now. And honestly, I forget that he's in that movie, but he is in fact in that movie. But yeah, it's just like, I really love stories about family, and this one has a lot to do with it, but it's also has a lot to do about relationships and love, specifically going on with his own family because he's lost his wife. He meets this woman on this island while he's on this like family vacation, falls in love with her. But do you know what like the twist of that part is? Okay, maybe you'll watch it one day. I'm not going to ruin it for you. There's a hitch with there's something that makes it weird that he has fallen in love with this specific woman.
They're related?
They're not real. No, they're not related.
She got a dick?
No. So yeah. And then on top of all of that, like his daughter is like, she's like 13 or 14. She has this boyfriend. She thinks she's absolutely in love with him, but he wouldn't let her come on the trip. And so it's this whole thing of like young love, and like he thinks love is awful because he got hurt and he doesn't want his daughter to love because he doesn't want her to get hurt, and lots of things going on in this movie, but it's really good, really heartwarming. Really dig that movie. And then number 2 for me is Crazy Stupid Love. Do you not like that movie?
No, that's a good, decent rom-com, but I just assumed my number 1 was going to be on your list.
Oh. Yeah. It's not.
Surprising.
Clearly. I don't know what it is yet, but... yeah, Crazy Stupid Love. I love this movie. I think it's better than a decent rom-com. And I thought about putting it lower because he is sharing a lot of screen time with Ryan Gosling. But again, not dissimilar to Little Miss Sunshine, ultimately Steve Carell's character is like the protagonist, like the main person of this film, because
I would agree with that more than Little Miss Sunshine, personally, but
I think you need to watch Little Miss Sunshine again. Like, he is very clearly the main character of that movie.
I always put it in the perspective of the little girl, honestly.
I mean, the main plot point of the movie is them trying to get her to her pageant, but like it is very clearly like mostly from Steve Carell's like perspective. What movie did I just... Crazy Stupid Love. Yeah, great cast. Like, the 4 adults in this movie are just like insanely good. It is really, really funny. Every rom-com, they can't just stick to like the one main beat. Like, the movie can't only be about Steve Carell and having marriage troubles and Ryan Gosling being this playboy who decides he wants to settle down with who? Oh shit, it just happens to be Steve Carell's daughter. it can't just be that. You have to throw in the stuff with the babysitter. You have to throw in the stuff with Kevin Bacon. And normally I get really annoyed when movies try to do too much, but I feel like all that stuff just fits really well within this movie because Steve Carell is the one who has to navigate all of it, or at least feels like he has to navigate all of it. And so, yeah, he's incredible in it. It's really funny. You said it in the beginning, and I think that that might fall into every single movie that I listed, but when it comes to like a dramatic role where you need someone to play an incredibly like self-deprecating, like loathsome man, Steve Carell's your guy. And other than Little Miss Sunshine, which was my number one, I think he does it best in Crazy Stupid Love.
I 100% agree.
Number one for me, 40-year-old version.
Yeah.
Doesn't do it for you?
It's another Judd Apatow movie.
I think this is probably the best Judd Apatow movie. I really like it. The main core story of it. I don't like the side characters too much.
Did Judd Apatow not do Superbad?
Oh, fuck.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's if we're gonna make a list of Judd Apatow movies,
Superbad's number one for sure.
40-Year-Old Virgin is gonna be on my list, but I'm not gonna sit here and stand for Superbad slander.
Yeah, I've blanked.
Yeah.
40-year-old version, though, Steve Carell's phenomenal. He is a fucking hoot. He is a riot. The whole chess scene, phenomenal. The love that he has with this girl makes total sense. It's logical. I really feel like I want them to be together. And this is kind of sort of a rom-com, so that's what you're going for. But he also doesn't want to give up who he is as a person. That makes total sense. And he's scared. And you don't really see that too much often from the man's point of view in movies. So I like that about it as well. He's a nerd. He likes toys and comic books and all types of shit.
Yeah, I started looking around your room and I was like, now I get it. Now I get it.
This is the film studio.
You are not 40 or a virgin, but like, yeah.
That's why I keep it all in one room.
Yeah.
The way he connects with the kids and everything. I think if you strip away the Seth Rogen, Paul Rudd, stupid jokes of the movie, it's a really good, sweet
I would agree with that.
movie that has a lot of heart and
but they are
hilarious.
So.
Well,
fuck them.
Can't always be perfect. Yeah. But that's our top 5 for Steve Carell. Let us know your top 5 in the comment section down below. Scroll back up, hit the like button, share the video, and subscribe.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.